Right now, while you're watching this, your brain is deleting you, not your body, you. The version of you that existed this morning. The first thought you had before your eyes opened, the exact taste of the first thing you put in your mouth. The way the light came into the room, the small flicker of mood you woke up in. Dozens of tiny pieces of you happened in the last few hours, and your brain has already marked almost every one of them for erasure. By tomorrow, most of today will be gone. By next year, this entire week will be a blur with maybe one or two fragments floating in it. And by the end of your life, more than 90% of everything you ever lived through will have been quietly wiped by the one organ you trust most to keep you. Here's the part that should bother you. This is not damage. It's not age. It's not your memory getting worse. Your brain is doing this deliberately, efficiently, every single second to material it has decided you don't get to keep. It is erasing your life on purpose. And the obvious assumption that this is a flaw, that a better brain would hold on to more, is exactly backwards. By the end of this video, you'll understand that the deletion isn't your brain failing you. It's your brain protecting you from something far worse. And the proof is a woman whose brain forgot how to forget. And it nearly destroyed her. But to understand why your brain would turn against your own life, you first have to give up the comforting lie you've believed about memory since you were a child. Almost everyone pictures memory as a recording. Something happens, the brain saves the footage, and one day you press play. It genuinely feels that way. When you replay your first day of school, it feels like watching a clip that's been in storage the whole time. But that picture is wrong, and the man who first proved it did it by torturing himself with nonsense for 5 years. In the 1880s, a German psychologist named Hermann Ebbinghaus decided to measure forgetting with a stopwatch. He invented thousands of meaningless three-letter syllables. Spells like WID and ZOF, chosen specifically because they had no meaning to cling to, and then memorized list after list of them, testing himself over and over for hours, days, and weeks, keeping time with a metronome. He was the scientist and the lab rat at once. And what he found has survived for nearly a century and a half. Forgetting isn't a slow, gentle fade. It's a cliff. Within the first hour, an enormous chunk of what he'd learned was already gone. The line he drew became the forgetting curve. And the unsettling truth inside it is that the curve isn't a sign of a bad brain. It's the factory setting of every brain. Yours is doing it right now to this sentence. So the question sharpens. Why would evolution build a machine that throws away most of what it records? To see it, look at what your brain is actually drowning in. Stop and notice this exact second. The weight of your body where you're sitting, the temperature of the air on your skin, every layer of sound in the background, the color of everything at the edge of your vision, the pressure of your clothes. Your brain is swallowing a flood of detail like this every waking moment. And that's just the raw sensory stream before you've had a single thought about any of it. Now, multiply that by every second you're awake across every day you've been alive. If your brain saved all of it, you would be buried alive under your own life. Every stranger's face on every street, every advertisement you ever half glanced at, every leaf on every tree you ever walked past. And here's the thing most people miss. The problem was never storage. The problem is that a mind that remembers everything can't find anything. An archive with no deletions is just noise. So your brain made a choice, long before you were born. Keep almost nothing and keep it on purpose. Which means the deletion isn't random. Your brain is constantly judging your life and deciding what's worth keeping, and it keeps almost none of it. 3 things flag a moment for survival: emotion, novelty, and repetition. That's why you can still feel an embarrassing moment from 10 years ago burning in your chest, but you genuinely cannot tell me what you ate for lunch 3 Tuesdays ago. The lunch happened. Your brain looked at it and decided it wasn't worth the space. The embarrassment came with emotion attached, so it got saved, while thousands of unmarked ordinary moments were wiped without you ever noticing they were gone. And now, it gets genuinely strange, because the handful of memories your brain does keep aren't safe either. Every time you remember something, you risk changing it. Neuroscientists call this reconsolidation. The idea is that a memory isn't a sealed file on a shelf. Each time you pull it up, it becomes briefly editable before it's stored again, and small changes can slip in during that window. Picture taking an old photograph out of a drawer, and every time you look at it, you redraw one tiny detail before putting it back. Do that for 20 years. The photo in the drawer is no longer the photo you started with, which leads to something almost no one wants to hear. The childhood memory you're most certain of, the one you've replayed the most, may be the one that's drifted furthest from the truth, because you've edited it more than any other. The memories you've touched the least are the most accurate, if they survived at all. So let's be honest about where we are. Your brain deletes your life by default. It keeps almost nothing. And the little it keeps, it quietly rewrites. At this point, it really does sound like your brain is broken, or worse, working against you, until you meet the one person whose brain refused to do any of it, and you realize the deletion was mercy all along. On June 8, 2000, a neuroscientist named James McGaugh at the University of California, Irvine received an email from a woman named Jill Price. She wasn't writing to brag, she was writing for help. She told him that since the age of 14, she could remember nearly every single day of her life. Give her a date, and she'd tell you the day of the week, what she did, what was in the news, how she felt. As she put it, starting on February 5th, 1980, I remember everything. That was a Tuesday. Her memory, she said, ran like a movie reel that never stopped. And here's the thing. She did not call it a gift. In her own words, she called it a burden, nonstop, uncontrollable, and totally exhausting. McGaugh's team tested her for years, checking her recall against old diaries and records. It held up. In 2006, they published her case and named the condition, what we now call highly superior autobiographical memory. Jill Price was the first person ever documented with it. In the decades since, researchers have confirmed only a few dozen others in the entire world, and almost every one of them describes the same shadow. The good memories never fade, but neither do the bad ones. Every humiliation stays sharp, every grief stays raw, every regret keeps its full original weight, forever, ready to surface at the mention of a single date. They cannot put anything down because nothing ever softens with time. Think about the worst day of your life. Now imagine it never aged, never blurred, never lost a single detail, and could ambush you the moment someone said the date out loud. That's the life on the other side of forgetting. So here is the reveal the whole video was built on. The thing you've quietly resented your entire life, your bad memory, the names you lose, the days that vanish, is not your brain betraying you. It is the single kindest thing it does for you. Forgetting is not the malfunction. Remembering everything is. Your brain erases your life on purpose for the same reason a wound forms a scar instead of staying open. Because you were never meant to carry all of it at full weight. The deletion is how you survive your own life. Which leaves only the question we started with. If your brain wipes more than 90% of everything you ever were, where does all of it go? It doesn't go nowhere. The details dissolve, but their effects don't. You can't replay the conversations that shaped what you believe. But you believe it anyway. You can't recall the thousands of ordinary days that made you who you are. But you're still made of them. Every erased afternoon left a fingerprint on the person watching this right now. Your life was never the pile of memories you can still reach. It's the person all those deleted moments quietly built. Your brain isn't trying to keep your life. It's trying to turn your life into you. And the only way to do that was to erase almost everything that got you here. You are what's left after your brain decided what you could live without.